I would like to introduce Lars-Peter Søbye, President and CEO of COWI since 2008, with 7,000 employees and international activities around the world. Very heavy activity in building and construction, infrastructure. Also representing the Danish Confederation of Industry with more than 18,000 members. Now, Lars-Peter Søbye, we would be very interested in your take on the bottlenecks and challenges for sustainable developments in the built environment, both in the short, the mid and the long term.
Yeah, thank you very much, Michael. First of all, I think, or I don't hope, that it's not obvious that we are really facing a problem here. Just with the last UN report, which came out this last summer, it is evident that we have to do something. And we have the responsibility for doing it. If we don't do it, this planet will not be existing as we know it. And that means there will be not an environment to live in for our child and our grandchild. So therefore this calls definitely for actions. And then you are pinpointing the construction industry. And I think it is one of the bottlenecks that the construction industry is taking up GDP of something like 13%. And if you then look at what are the green gas emission, it is nearly double up, 25%. And looking at the last many years, you could say the last decades, you have seen, I think, 1% of efficiency during those 2 decades. So there is a huge potential here, and at the same time also a challenge to overcome. Frankly speaking, it is not the industry where innovation and change is happening at the high speed.
It's a global challenge, right? And the need for buildings and infrastructure in order to support growth, economic growth, but welfare. How do you see this is possible? Alone in Africa, they estimate that the number of buildings in urban environments is going to increase by a factor of 5 towards 2050. So what can you do?
Yeah, I think it's possible, first of all, but it takes from us that we start doing things completely differently. First of all, we need to go for the low-hanging fruits, and that has to be on a global scale. So it could be that the low-hanging fruit is the easiest to catch in Vietnam, then we have to go there and do it. And I think we have the technology for it. It's a question of really getting that technology global. And secondly, then there's also the entire raw material. The way we produce or using the raw material, it is where the main part of the pollution comes from, or the CO2. So I think we need to look at how can we change the way we use raw materials. Are there different types of materials to come more into play? It could be wood, it could be green steel, it can be how can we use power to X or hydrogen power to get much more into this industry. So I see a lot of possibilities, but it is for sure a great transformation which is in front of us.
Yeah, and it will also require a lot of economy.
Yeah.
So if we are looking at continents like Africa, or we are looking in developing parts of the world, where is that economy going to come from?
It is definitely taking a lot of investment, but just looking at the investment pools from the EU, adding on building back, more or less decided in the United States, you have, I think, quite a sum of investment coming into this. Just here in looking in Denmark, the Danish pension fund have agreed to invest more than 500 millions into this. So I think all in all, the money side is possible, I think it takes even more is you can say the governments to step up and step in and take their responsibility. Having higher demands when they are doing infrastructure projects, setting much higher requirements to us as consultant, as the entrepreneur when they are doing all the projects.
And to this end, do you see regulation, like international regulation, could play a role here?
I think it's needed. I think it's a combination of regulation and us as the industry players taking our part of the responsibility on our shoulders because that is the only way to take this forward and make sure that this planet will also stay to our grandchildren.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.